Hey everybody, it's Jack and Dan, and today we're going to give one last shot at the breeding tanks before we take them down.
Yeah, we just want to kind of show you guys one more time. We did this as a little bit of a breeding project. They were super fun to build, and again, we did a lot of these projects kind of during when COVID was going on and things like that. Also, Jack was younger. Now, my business is getting busier after the pandemic. Jack's getting busier because you got a job, you're a senior now, you're driving, you're getting ready for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
And we don't have as much time. These were super fun. We were able to breed some fish, and we were able to get some store credit at Best in Pets, which we will be going back to soon. Some of that store credit we're going to turn into getting some more koi. At the end of the season around this time of year, we usually try to get more koi and stuff for the pond. We haven't added any in there lately, all the way since last fall, but then we had that catastrophe where some of them jumped out and we had to build up the walls and reinforce it. So now we think we're ready to kind of spend a little more money on some fancier koi and shabunkin and things like that. So a lot of these blue polar, we've been successful in breeding. You don't make a lot of money, but we've got enough store credit, and we've got a few more that we're going to grow out here, and we'll come in close and show you. But honestly, they were fun. It takes a little more time than we're willing to give for what the return on investment is. It's just not that much. Lenny and Squiggy have been laying eggs a lot this last year. We haven't even talked about that in any videos. Those are our two really big blood parrots. We thought initially they were both male, right?
Yeah.
Come to find out, Squiggy's a female, Lenny is a male. But whenever they lay eggs in the big 220, there's like a dozen clown loaches in there, and they just eat them all, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's what they do.
We're going to take this one down for sure. We might leave this one up. These parent blue polars are going to go back in the 220 with all the rest. Again, blue polars breed like crazy. It's just not that lucrative. The return on investment, it really isn't there.
No.
We might try angelfish again in here using a suspended cone so the snails can't eat the eggs or whatever. And we might try to put Lenny and Squiggy in here once just to see what happens, because they do lay a ton of eggs. And they've done that like a dozen times this year.
Yeah.
They never did it before that. All of a sudden this year they started to, so they must have just reached a certain age or whatever. We might try, we might not, we're not sure. But ultimately these are going to come down here in the next couple of months after a couple more attempts of maybe screwing around with some breeding. And we're going to use that store credit for more fish for the pond. Inevitably then that'll just leave us the pond and then the 3 big tanks in the dining room, which ultimately, over time, probably by the time Jack graduates, when I'll have even less time because he'll be doing his own starting life and everything, right? So I'll have even less time for the aquariums and that. So I'll probably just end up consolidating everything into that 220, redoing it, and that's the only tank. I'll just have the big 220 and the big pond, and that'll be enough, you know? Because now
that'll be probably, man.
Because now I got these guys around here, right?
Yeah.
These guys are right behind the camera. There's Hank. He's been a handful, right, Hank? He's like, why did you pick me up? I was sleeping. So he's been a little handful, but he's getting better. He's getting out of his puppy days of waking me up in the middle of the night and stuff like that. I'm going to turn this camera around here and show you Lace, because she's here, and then some close-ups here to the aquariums here. What's up, guys?
Look at her sitting with her hands crossed.
She's like, I like relaxing on the chair. She loves the beanbag chair. This is one of her favorite places to be. And you like to snuggle with Lacey, don't you, huh? Yeah. So I'm just going to kind of go around over here. Again, this is the previous owner kind of had an office space in here. And I had it as my office for a while, but I moved that into the back, and I do like it better that way. So we'll move some of these things. This pothos will probably end up going into the 220 where we have a bunch of pothos. We'll probably take some of these things down. This is that infinity kind of effect that we did with, you know, the blue lights kind of going down to the bottom and everything. Let me get a close-up of some of these guys. There are quite a bit. There's one right there. So these were some of the blue polar that bred that kind of weren't big enough to take in yet, so we left them in here. They're growing out now. After a couple weeks, they're probably going to go in the Green Lantern tank where they can get bigger, and then ultimately, again, they'll end up in the 220 with the rest of the blue polars and everything else. So we'll get the rest of those guys out of there in a few weeks and put them in there. Now, again, these two parents right here, today, They just had more babies, and you can see the babies in the background kind of skirting around. Kind of a bad reflection, so I'll kind of go in the way here, but you can see little babies floating around there. This mom and dad are going to go into the 220 with all the rest of the blue polars. And again, we're going to take these babies, let them grow out a little more, and they'll go, everything's going to go in the blue or the green lantern tank. You see there's algae on this, but we've actually kind of let that grow because the babies eat it. It's really great baby food. So it works out pretty well there. But this is the one that had the 3D image on the back of the dragon, and then this was a big shark one that I had in my closet since like the 80s, right?
Yeah.
And it was a neat design, and this peace lily's doing really good. Probably gonna take this out. I'll put it on a tray of some sort for overflow, and it might just go right here in the middle of the table. Pamela's got some sunflowers there right now. She loves to have those sunflowers this time of year, but you know, those are gonna die off here probably in a few weeks. So we're just gonna put this in the middle of the table permanently. This peace lily has done really well right by the window here. You can see there's pollen all over it and stuff like that. So probably dust that out and put that in a thing. Anyway, they were super fun and they were super cool projects, but just didn't feel that they were necessarily lucrative enough to take our time up. You know what I mean? Where'd he go? Oh, Pamela must be home. He's gonna start freaking out. Is mommy home? All right, we're gonna end the video because he's gonna start going crazy when mommy comes home. And we'll see you soon, guys. Take care.